Morning everybody, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. So you join me down here in Cornwall on a lovely sunny day, and it is a Saturday morning, and I thought I'd grab the cameras and bring you guys out on a training run. The main reason is that when I took the ASICS Trabuco Max 4 out for its first impressions, I asked if you'd like to see a long run test as well, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. There's also another reason why I've picked today's route, but let's get kitted up and let's get out on the run. Straight out of the adventure bus into a big hill up to the steeple, but this is one of the reasons I love coming out on this route. It's challenging, it's technical in places, but you get some epic views when we've got a lovely sunny day like today. So we started off in Carbish Bay, just out of St Ives. We're running up to the steeple to the left of me, over Rosewall Hill, and then we're going to drop down onto the coast path, sort of Zennor way. Super technical running out on the coast path, and it's a great route to test out a trail shoe because you get a big mixture of different types of terrain. The other reason we've come out this way today is because if you saw my channel update video, then you'll know that in a couple of weeks I'm going to be running the Cousin Jacks put on by Bisviken Events down here in Cornwall, and it starts out at Cape Cornwall and then you run all the way to St Ives, so you have to take in that tricky Zennor section. So I thought I'd come out today to get a heads up on how the underfoot conditions are going to be, just so I can choose the right shoe for the occasion. Already I know it is going to be super wet and super muddy out there, so it's really going to be a good test for this ASICS shoe. So I think that's enough talking for now. Obviously I'll give you updates along the way. I think it's going to be a big test for this ASICS trail shoe because that is a technical piece of coast path, and we've obviously got that deeply cushioned high stacked midsole on the shoe, so you definitely lose a bit of ground feel, but I thought it handled it pretty good on that first impressions run. This is going to be a much bigger challenge though, so let's get out on the route.
Maybe someday when I've grown older, I can see it all clear from above, looking back on it all. Maybe I can see what was broken.
Okay, you might have already noticed on the footage that the outsole on the Trabuco Max is really struggling with this mud. I am slipping and sliding, so this run could get really interesting when we hit the coast path. Luckily we got ASICS grip rubber on the bottom, so it is really good on wet rock. So I think I'm gonna try and avoid the mud and aim for rock and see how we get on. Wish me luck. We are off the tarmac, and this is where we're really going to have to focus because it's going to be super wet and boggy from now on, and this shoe really is struggling with traction. That lug depth, lug shape, just can't handle it, and it is so wet.
I'm just a human in motion.
We have made it over Rosewall Hill, but whew, that was hard work. Obviously, it was hard work because it's quite a big, challenging, technical hill, but it was made even harder by this outsole. I was fighting traction the whole way up and I was using so much energy. So I really think that the ASICS Trabuco Max 4 isn't cut out for wet, boggy, muddy conditions. There is one thing for sure, I am not going to be using this shoe for Cousin Jack. It would be an absolute nightmare. It'd be such hard work over that route, over that distance. However, on the more compacted trails and the longer sections of tarmac, soaked it up with ease. So that deeply cushioned midsole felt very comfortable underfoot and it returned a nice level of energy, and that rocker geometry felt very efficient. So good on the more compacted stuff, but terrible in the boggy, wet, muddy stuff. Awful. It's really windy up here. Hopefully you can hear me, but what an incredible view. 360-degree views of the beautiful county of Cornwall. What a place to live and train. How lucky am I? Wow, to say that bridleway was interesting when it comes to traction would be an understatement. I would say probably one of the worst outsoles I've run in muddy conditions, and recently I've run in a couple of trail shoes with a similar lug depth, the Caldera 8 from Brooks and Salomon's Ultra Glide 3, and they both perform way better than this in the mud. It really is bad. I can't believe how bad, but I'm going to get over this stile in one piece hopefully. And we are now heading for the coast path, so it should get a bit better now. I don't think it's going to be as muddy as there. There should be a lot more rock, and you know, this ASICS grip rubber is brilliant on rock, so it should get a bit easier. We're about 6.5 miles in, and that has been a tough 6.5 miles. All those muscle groups firing off, trying to stabilise in the mud. Woo! Been hard work. So we're 7 miles in and it's time for some fuel. So today I'm using Precision Fuel and Hydration's little energy chews, 30 grams of carbs in each one. Super tasty, they're like little cubes of Turkish delight and I get on really well with them. If you are struggling with your nutrition and you want to try something new, then there is a discount link in the description below that will get you 15% off your first purchase. I've been using their gels, their chews, the electrolytes for a good few years now, and they work so well for me. Obviously, nutrition is super personal, but not only is the product great, but they've got lots of free advice on their website, from nutrition, electrolyte plans for races. I think I've torn my hamstring. Oh my God. I trod right in a bog and I couldn't get out. Oh my God. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Well, I do apologise for my screaming and hollering, but oh dear. So, I was just chatting along on camera, it was a bit boggy there, and then all of a sudden my leg just disappeared about hip deep into a bog. I put my left foot out to sort of catch the slip, and because the grip on this shoe is so bad in the mud, my left leg just slipped out from under me and I ended up doing the splits, and I felt like, felt something just pop. I don't know whether it's my hamstring or what, but we've got, it has eased off a bit, which is a positive thing obviously, but we've got a long hobble back to St Ives now, and then I'll get the van in Carvis Bay, but this is not good. Oh, running, should have been concentrating, but just a freak accident. It was a bit muddy and then my leg just disappeared. Oh, I can't believe it. There I am talking about how my fitness is coming back. I was feeling really good on the run, looking forward to running this section of coast path, and now we're hobbling. Oh, fingers crossed it's not too serious, but let's get back to the adventure bus in, I was going to say one piece, but clearly I'm not in one piece. Oh, this is going to be a slog. Oh, right, I'll see you back there soon. Well, that definitely didn't go to plan, and I was really struggling by the time I got back to the adventure bus, so sorry I didn't do any filming there, and I'm actually filming on the Monday after the fall, and I've just got back from seeing my brilliant sports physio Paul Coker. He actually saw my post about the fall on Instagram and messaged me straight away and said I've booked you in for Monday. So I've just got back from seeing him, and there's good news and there's bad news. So the bad news is I have damaged the top of my hamstring, and it was pretty tender, pretty painful when he got me to do certain movements. The good news is it's not as bad as I first thought after the fall. So hopefully with a bit of recovery, a bit of rest, a few exercises that Paul's given me, I can maybe be back running in 2 weeks. Obviously, I'm not gonna rush it. I'm gonna make sure everything's recovered properly, but I think all things considered, that's a pretty good outcome, and I think it could have been a lot worse after that bad fall. So I didn't get the long run in, unfortunately, and I actually managed to cover 10.34 miles, but the last 2 miles of that was kind of me just hobbling off the coast path, getting back to St Ives feeling sorry for myself. So not what I wanted, not ideal, but it was such a shame because it was perfect weather conditions out there for running, and the Cornish coast path was looking stunning, and I was really enjoying myself just before I fell over. However, even though we didn't get the miles in we wanted, I still did learn a few new things about the Trabuco Max 4 from ASICS. The first one obviously being that this trail shoe hasn't been designed to handle wet, muddy, boggy UK conditions. Although ASICS do say on their website they've designed this shoe to explore the trails without holding back, and that this ASICS grip rubber outsole is going to give you incredible levels of grip in varied weather conditions. And I suppose that's all true as long as you don't come across any mud. And you know, without doubt, this ASICS grip rubber is super sticky when you're running on rocky or wet rocky trails, and I would say it's as good as Vibra Mega Grip, and that is high praise indeed. However, the lug pattern, the lug depth really did offer me zero traction in the mud. Even if it was just a slight bit of mud, it really struggled. And just by chance, recently I've actually run in another couple of trail shoes that feature a 4mm lug on the outsole. So the Caldera 8 from Brooks being one, and also the Lone Peak 9 Plus from Altra. I took them out for their first run in a very wet, damp Tahiti woods, and both of those shoes gave me a lot more traction than the ASICS outsole. So I think it must just come down to the actual shape of the lug. So you can see on the ASICS shoe, they're kind of shaped like little M's, and they just didn't seem to dig into that mud and give me any traction. And it was literally like I was running on ice every time I came across any mud. It's such a shame because on everything else, they felt really good. So whenever I was running more compacted trails or sections of road, felt nice and comfortable underfoot. And I actually think this FF Blast Plus Eco Foam was bedded in nicely. So on the second run, it was offering me a bit more sort of plushness and a bit more energy return. And for a deeply cushioned trail shoe, I actually felt pretty connected. So even though I had this deep stack of cushioning under my foot, I think because we got this nice wide profile to the midsole, they actually felt pretty stable on the more technical stuff. So the outcome after today's failed mission is, I personally think that the ASICS Trabuco Max 4 isn't really cut out for UK winter conditions, and it's definitely more of a dry trail shoe. So, you know, towpaths, fire roads, gravel trails, and definitely no mud. However, today's fall and the experience hasn't put me off running in them. I just think I need to make sure it's the right underfoot conditions and weather when I choose to use them. And if I was doing a long training run or a long race on dry trails, compacted trails where I crossed over to sections of road, then I would definitely reach for this trail shoe because I actually enjoy running in them. Obviously, the other big reason for heading out on that specific long run route today was to check out underfoot conditions for an upcoming race, Cousin Jack. Now, I can definitely say one thing. I think it's going to be muddy, wet, and very slippy out there, guys. So you need to make sure that you've got a deeper, more aggressive lug than this on the bottom of your trail shoes. And unfortunately, with the fall and the injury, it looks like I'm not going to be lining up on the start line now, which is such a shame. I'm not going to give up on it. You never know, see how recovery goes, but I'm not willing to risk anything this early in the year. So there you have it, folks, my kind of long run test in the new deeply cushioned trail shoe from ASICS, the Trabuco Max 4. I've got to say a massive thanks to our viewers for your words of support and encouragement. I actually posted on Instagram about the fall on Saturday, and you guys so supportive as ever. So massive thanks, it really is appreciated. If you want to find out any more details about the trail shoe, so more specific stuff like heel offset, lug depth, fit of the shoe, then we have done a first impressions video where I dive into all the specs in a bit more detail. So I'll leave a link for that first impressions video in the description below in case you want to check it out. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed the video, to like, comment, share and subscribe, as it is a real big help to the channel. I really hope that me falling over, rolling around in the mud and screaming like a big baby hasn't put you off running, and hopefully I'll be back on my feet soon. But as always, stay safe and keep on running.